Hello, my friends. How are you this evening? How are you this morning? How are you this afternoon? How's it going for you? I'm curious. I'm getting some great feedback and some chat around some of the videos that I've been, the content that I've been putting in there for you and that I've been doing. Thank you, by the way, in advance. And thank you for all the wonderful feedback that you've been giving me thus far. It's really been helpful. I also want to, if you're a newbie, hey, if you're new to this channel, I want you to subscribe to my great content. I want you to be an active member in, the community that I'm building. And if you're watching me again, hey, how's it going? Welcome back. I wanted to talk today about resistance because I've been waiting for a while, wanting and wondering what to discuss when it came to resistance. And here's what I've come up with. Resistance, well, you might say I've been resistant to talking about this? Maybe. Or have I been waiting for a while to just talk about this? Maybe. There's been a couple maybes here, but you can put that together however you like it. I would like to say that there's divine timing and that this is the right video and this is the right topic at this time. So let's do this. Resistance. How does that hit for you? How does that land? For me, it is this. When I feel that, it is unknown. It is, do I change? Do I accept? Do I tolerate? What is it? Is it a trigger for me? It's many things. But it's actually me transmitting the polar opposite of the direction of where I want to go. Or it is maybe met with the right resistance on the direction you want to go. You see, here's how this goes. I've said go a few times here. Why not? One more. Go. When we put out resistance into the universe, it knows no bounds. It only knows what it knows, and it will send out that equal amount of resistance in the direction you're headed. It will also come back to you in the same and equal, in its equal capacity, the same way. Resistance that you put out will come back to you the same way, in the same force, in the same energy that you transmit out there. It comes back to you the same way. You get the point. Here's what I'm driving home here. When we take our days and there are things that happen throughout the day. What are those things, Jesse? Anything. You want to go get groceries, but you can't go get groceries because there's some sort of big city water pipe break. Or is there? Or you cannot go to the store because your car is in the shop and you're met with a bit of resistance to that. Or let's say that your spouse, your significant other, your wife has told you about a certain something and you happen to have some sort of resistance on what that looks like. So what could that be? What could that be? That might be as little as something like or reinforcing boundaries. The resistance in that. I do not like the way that you have talked to me. And here's what I find happens. The resistance you're sending out at that point might be felt on her end. Or vice versa. I don't like the way you're talking to me. So right away, you could be triggered or you could be listening. And either way, the resistance in that could come across as something negative. Here's where this gets fun. You either choose to let it go or you choose to be even more resistant about it, therefore creating more of an issue for yourself. See, we're talking about a little bit of polarization as well. And what I mean by resistance, I mean it in a way that it does not help your ability to be able to resolve the situation that you're in. In fact, I think that it hinders it. But it is also a critical and crucial step, stage, moment, level for you to be able to continue on. And you need to realize that. How does that happen for me? It happens many a time when reinforcing boundaries in my own relationship. It has happened many a time doing the exact same thing. It happens daily with things when I think about thoughts, think about past thoughts of family members during events in my life where I was either supported or not supported. And what I ended up doing before I started actively reprogramming my subconscious, and I'll get to that another time, was putting that energy out there, therefore creating more resistance around that. What does that look like, Jesse? Well, every time you have that thought, you get more and more resistant to it and less likely to be able to resolve it. You feel me here? Or unwilling to resolve it because you don't want to do it because you don't like how it feels to you. That happens. That happens to us guys. When it comes down to reinforcing boundaries, let's say with in-laws, let's say with cousins, let's say with family members, it is tough sometimes. It is tough going through the uncomfortable things because sometimes you have family members that do not want to, they don't want conflict. But here's the thing, they don't know how to best broach conflict and they're scared of it and there's a fear around it. Let me tell you this. What's worse than broaching conflict or a situation of conflict? I'll give you a moment. Not talking about it. Not broaching it. Why is that, Jesse? Because if you think of all the mind stories and hoops and obstacles in your head when it comes to the thoughts about being able to do that, it's worse. And not only that, your body goes into a hack and stress trying to figure out what all that is. Therefore, you create resistance around that very thing of which you didn't want to create, right? You feel me? Oh my gosh, Jesse, there's so many things to think about. You're creating resistance for me. No, I'm helping create a path forward for you, my friend. And all that is telling you, if you are talking about reinforcing boundaries with your relatives, with your family members, because that is I believe, some of the most tough moments of your life, but you got to go through them. Do not rest on the fence. Do not avoid it. Go through it, hit it like a tidal wave. Because here's the thing. The resistance that is met before you go through that gate, hit the tidal wave, is for your best growth. And I want you to hit it. I want you to go through it, and I don't want you to back down from it. And I'm saying it in a way where avoiding it is that of resistance as well, because you're not really doing anything for yourself. When you do that, you in fact create even more resistance, which is what the universe serves up for you that much more. You're creating even more, therefore it's coming back to you even more. Oh, there's so many things to count here for, Jesse. Yes, I know. I've said a lot. Here's the big picture. I want you to be truthful to yourself. I want you to own your truth. I want you to speak your truth. I want you to own all of what is yours, and that means your thoughts, and that means your desires, and that means everything that you need to do to speak, to reinforce boundaries, to talk about your triggers, to talk out loud when it comes to relatives. And I don't want you to back down. I want you to be polite and firm. Because what it's done for me is it's helped me when I've had to go through that big chat with my dad about how I feel, how I felt in childhood with certain events in my life that I didn't feel like I was honored. I didn't feel like it was validated. I didn't feel like I was, well, I didn't feel like he appreciated me for being the dad that I am for my daughter. And that hurt. But I did it. I went through it. And when I told him I needed him to step up as a grandfather, I mean, that was a boundary, but that was also a want. That was also something that I wanted him to do, to be able to do that. Now, was that met with some resistance? Of course it was. But hear me now. That was something that I definitely deeply needed to get off my chest, because I felt that this was something that was both good for him and my daughter, but it was also good for me because I was able to get that message of which I've been holding on to for a long time. And I did that a few years ago, by the way. Here's what I get. Here's what I get every time we get Papa. My dad gives all the quality time when he's with my daughters. And so much so, he's embraced my new relationship, my wife, my stepdaughter, my daughter. And he stepped up. So the quality time is there. I see it, I feel it, and I'm so proud of myself for being able to do that, to say something. Now, I know that when it comes to dealing with resistance, it comes in many different forms, and I've talked about many already, and I don't want to overtalk myself to that. It comes in the form of thought. It comes in the form of situation. It comes in the form of an event, like an event that you don't want to go to, but you know that you have to. A rally, a funeral, somebody's wedding, a party where you might see so-and-so, or someone that you dated previously, or maybe somebody that you took a swing at. Anything, really. And I don't condone that behavior, by the way. I'm talking about those things because those are things that we endure in everyday life. Resistant to change. Resistance to the whole financial system out there. That is, where is it? What is it doing right now? There's lots of things going on with it right now. And I'm sure that many of you listening to this are going, oh my God, my eyes are starting to glaze over and I don't know what to say about it because I haven't been tuning in because I'm resistant to listening to anything about it. You're right. But you're getting more of that back. I'm resistant to, I'll tell you what I'm resistant to, is I'm resistant to the initial approach when I know that I need to stand in my light. But what I have decided and what I now do for myself when I recognize that in the many seconds that I have, and it probably takes 20, what I realize within Jesse is that, no, it takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes to figure out what it is, to figure out how I feel, and then I formulate a plan to move forward. So I use it as leverage for which to grow. I use it as leverage in the breakdown moment to get through to the breakthrough. I use it as a tool to be able to overcome the stuck and to get on with it. It's tough. But it's not. How contradictory of you, Jesse. Well, you know what? Life is full of those contradictions and you need to embrace all of what is. And when you do, you will find the hidden gems, treasures, gifts, and life lessons that this wonderful world has to give to you. And when you stop running from it, it will stop running from you. It'll show up for you just as you want to show up for it. Remember, not only law of resistance is something that the universe will hand to you. Law of attraction is also working there as well. And it will hand to you just as what you put out there. it'll hand that energy right back to you the same way. I would love to tell you about the first few days of getting into making YouTube videos, how resistant I was before that. And that was to me trying to understand why it took me so long to do it, because what I really found that I was doing after I did it is how cathartic it was. I was talking to you about the very things that made sense to me, but also the very things that I was resistant to. And the very things that were holding me back were the little things about, well, I don't know if I have something that will resonate with everybody, or I don't have things that will resonate with people out there. All I needed to do was to realize my own self-worth, that I had something out there that would help somebody, that somebody resonated with something of what I said. And that's all we need to do, my friends, is realize that you are the biggest gift in your life. And when you realize your own self-worth and your confidence, and you will change. You will change. You will change somebody's life with the information that you have. You will help support them with the information you have. You are your biggest asset with your health. And as soon as you realize that, all the resistance comes down. And that's where I was, realizing my own self-worth, my own confidence in being able to do it. I had something wonderful to be able to give to you out there. And that, my friends, is the end of this video. I'd like to say thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Let's do this.